Welcome back to the ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today we will learn about the explosive drama unfolding in Port Charles on Thursday, October 30th, where secrets, betrayals, and family feuds threaten to shatter lives forever. In a moment that could redefine loyalties at General Hospital, Portia Robinson stuns Ava Jerome with a raw confession about her unexpected pregnancy and the tangled web surrounding the biological father's identity. Portia, still reeling from the shock of her condition discovered just weeks ago during a routine checkup amid her hectic shifts, pulls Ava aside in the dimly lit hospital corridor, her voice trembling as she reveals how this baby, conceived in a whirlwind of passion and regret, has upended her world. Ava, who has her own history of navigating moral gray areas with schemes involving her daughter Avery, freezes in disbelief, her perfectly manicured hand clutching a chart as Portia describes the late-night doubts keeping her awake, wondering if this child will bridge or break her fractured bond with Curtis Ashford. This admission isn't just gossip fodder, it's a pivotal turning point, forcing Ava to confront her role as Portia's confidant while grappling with how this news might ripple into the Jerome family's ongoing power struggles, potentially drawing in Sonny Corinthos for unwanted advice on handling such delicate family matters. Meanwhile, the tension escalates dramatically at GH when Curtis Ashford corners Isaiah Gannon in a heated confrontation, fueled by the fresh revelation of Portia's pregnancy and Isaiah's untimely arrival seeking her out. Curtis, whose smooth demeanor often masks a simmering intensity honed from years in the nightclub scene and personal betrayals, blocks Isaiah's path near the elevators, his eyes flashing with a mix of protectiveness and unresolved anger from their shared romantic history with Portia. Isaiah, a charismatic newcomer with a mysterious past tied to medical conferences and fleeting encounters, pushes back assertively, urging Curtis to step aside and accept that Portia deserves a fresh start unburdened by old flames, perhaps alluding to his own stable life back in a coastal town where he runs a small clinic. But Curtis, refusing to back down, drops the bombshell about the baby, painting a vivid picture of late-night talks with Portia where she confessed her fears of raising this child alone amid the hospital's chaos and Curtis's own recovery from past addictions. This disclosure hits Isaiah like a thunderbolt, forcing him to recalculate his intentions. Could he be the father, based on that one intense weekend getaway Portia mentioned in hushed tones? The exchange crackles with unspoken accusations, hinting at a potential alliance or rivalry that might pull in other hospital staff like Epiphany Johnson for mediation, all while the baby news hangs like a storm cloud over their futures. Shifting scenes to another powder keg, Britt Westbourne locks horns with Elizabeth Baldwin in a blistering showdown that reignites old rivalries simmering since their nursing school days and shared battles over Jason Morgan's affections. Britt, the sharp-tongued doctor with a legacy of ethical scrapes from her shady WSB ties, corners Elizabeth during a quiet moment in the break room, prodding at her vulnerabilities with pointed jabs about Liz's messy love life involving multiple baby daddies and recent memory lapses. Elizabeth, ever the resilient nurse who has weathered Hamilton Finn's hesitations and Franco's haunting ghost, fires back with equal ferocity, accusing Britt of meddling in patient care to boost her ego, perhaps referencing a recent case where Britt overrode Liz's input on a risky procedure for a VIP patient. The buttons they push go deep, unearthing buried resentments like Britt's jealousy over Elizabeth's seemingly stable family with the Weber boys, contrasted against Britt's own struggles with her mother Liesl Albrecht's manipulative influence. As their voices rise, echoing through the sterile halls, this clash could spill into professional repercussions, maybe even prompting a formal complaint to the board that tests their fragile truce in the high-stakes world of Port Charles medicine. Enter Nathan West, Britt's steadfast ally and fellow law enforcement figure, bursting onto the scene with a look of pure alarm as he pulls her aside to whisper urgently about a brewing crisis involving Rocco Falconeri. Nathan, whose detective instincts have been sharpened by years chasing leads on the Valentine Cassadine front, grips Britt's arm, his face etched with worry over Rocco's latest antics that echo the boy's adventurous spirit inherited from Dante's police lineage and Lulu's journalistic curiosity. Whether this ties back to Lulu's awkward reaction at a family dinner where Rocco let slip a schoolyard secret about a forbidden friendship, or escalates to something more sinister like Rocco stumbling upon a shady deal at the docks involving Dex Mills, Nathan's warning carries the weight of impending danger that could drag the Falconeri clan into deeper peril. Britt, processing this amid her own health scares reminiscent of her Huntington's battle, nods gravely, already mentally mapping out protective measures like looping in Maxie Jones for maternal backup or enlisting Dante for a father-son intervention. The urgency in Nathan's tone underscores how quickly innocent mischief can spiral in Port Charles, where kids like Rocco often unwittingly brush against the criminal underbelly lurking just beyond the skyline. Speaking of family fractures, Lulu Spencer and Dante Falconeri erupt into a fiery argument earlier on Wednesday, all sparked by Rocco's increasingly devious behavior that's testing the limits of their co-parenting dynamic. Lulu, the feisty Metro Court manager with a nose for news that rivals her Metro Court gossip sessions, confronts Dante in their cozy apartment, her hands on hips as she recounts Rocco's latest scheme, sneaking out to tag along with a group of older kids near the haunted star, possibly inspired by tales of his Uncle Sonny's exploits. Dante, the rugged cop whose job already strains his home life with shifts dodging bullets from the pikeman organization, defends Rocco's curiosity as a sign of resilience, but his voice cracks with frustration over how Lulu's overprotectiveness might push the boy further into rebellion. Their clash delves into deeper issues, like unresolved feelings from their on-again, off-again romance and the shadow of Charlotte Cassadine's custody battles, painting a picture of a family teetering on the edge where one wrong word could lead to slammed doors or, worse, Rocco overhearing and acting out even bolder. Fans will want to watch closely, as this parental showdown might force Lulu and Dante to revisit therapy sessions or seek advice from Olivia Falconeri, potentially mending or marring their bond in unexpected ways. Over in the realm of high-stakes alliances, Nina Reeves drops a bombshell on Drew Kane by disclosing that Jacinda Bracken has withdrawn as Michael Corinthos' alibi, shaking the foundations of the ongoing Willow Tate exoneration saga. Nina, the resilient editor of The Invader whose media empire has weathered scandals from her own affair with Sonny, meets Drew in a secluded corner of the park, her expression a mix of triumph and trepidation as she explains how she cornered Jacinda with an irresistible offer, any sum to recant and clear Willow's name from those false theft accusations tied to a charity gala mishap. Off-screen or perhaps in a tense Wednesday exchange, Jacinda, a savvy businesswoman with ties to international trade deals that brushed Port Charles imports, seemed to waver under Nina's persuasive pitch, complete with visions of luxury vacations funded by Reeves' deep pockets. Yet, the plot thickens as weekly promos tease Jacinda slipping a hefty check toward Michael instead, her loyalty forged in late-night strategy sessions where he promised not just financial backing but emotional support amid his own family woes with Sasha Gilmore's recovery. This double-cross could explode if Jacinda flips the script, threatening to alert the PCPD that Nina attempted bribery, a move that would tarnish Nina's reputation further and doom Willow's freedom, especially if it implicates Ava in peripheral scheming. As Nina and Drew dissect this betrayal, their conversation hints at budding strategy, with Drew leveraging his Quartermain connections to counterattack, while the alliance between Jacinda and Michael simmers with sparks that might ignite into romance, drawing parallels to classic Port Charles power couples like Jax and Carly. At the opulent Quartermain mansion, Veronica Ronnie Barr doubles down on her bold declaration to sell the sprawling estate, leaving the family in uproar without specifying if Drew Kane remains the intended buyer. Ronnie, a no-nonsense real estate mogul whose sharp negotiations have toppled lesser tycoons, stands firm in the grand living room amid crystal chandeliers and antique furnishings, reiterating her plans despite the sentimental value tied to generations of Quartermain dramas from Edward's iron-fisted rule to Lila's gentle legacy. Whispers suggest she may have cut a clandestine deal with Martin Gray, the slick attorney known for his Cassadine entanglements, to offload the property to an anonymous investor eyeing it for a luxury hotel conversion, bypassing Drew's earnest bid rooted in his desire to honor Scout and build stability post-Navy days. Tracy Quartermain, the matriarch with a tongue as lethal as her business acumen, explodes in defiance, vowing that Ronnie will only pry the deed from her cold, dead hands, a dramatic flourish echoing her past standoffs over ELQ shares and Lila's rose garden preservation. Undeterred, Ronnie presses on, citing Martin's legal pressure and visions of a fresh chapter away from the mansion's ghosts, including memories of AJ's tragic end and Sky's fiery exits. This standoff pulses with potential for sabotage, as Tracy might rally Ned or Olivia to unearth dirt on Ronnie's motives, while Drew watches warily, his own path to purchase now riddled with obstacles that foreshadow a larger crisis blending real estate woes with the Jacinda fallout. As Drew absorbs Nina's Jacinda update, his reaction promises fireworks, blending calculated fury with the strategic mind that propelled him through Aurora Media's boardroom battles. Drew, ever the military man turned mogul, paces the Quartermain grounds, processing how this shift not only jeopardizes Willow but could entangle his growing rapport with Nina, perhaps prompting a deeper alliance forged in shared losses like his presumed death and her custody fights for Wiley. The news hits hard, evoking flashbacks to his own wrongful accusations during the body-double confusion with Jason, fueling a resolve to expose Jacinda's duplicity through private investigators or even confronting Michael directly at the Savoy. Yet, ABC General Hospital spoilers tease a fresh crisis barreling toward Drew later in the week, possibly merging the house sale snag, where Martin's clauses might void the deal over zoning disputes, with the bribery mess that risks pulling in the DA's office and complicating Scout's custody angles. Next, we will learn about the escalating drama surrounding the Quartermaine mansion and how it could deliver a devastating setback to Drew Kane's ambitions. In the intricate web of Port Charles real estate battles, spoilers suggest that Veronica "Ronnie" Bard is on the verge of offloading the iconic Quartermaine estate to an enigmatic mystery buyer, a move that promises to shatter Drew Kane's dreams of reclaiming his family's legacy. This potential sale isn't just a simple transaction, it's laced with layers of betrayal, hidden motives, and family feuds that have simmered for generations, potentially forcing the Quartermaines into uncharted territory. Imagine the sprawling halls, once filled with the echoes of powerful decisions and dramatic confrontations, now slipping away from the clan's grasp, a symbol of their unraveling unity that could ignite fresh rivalries among siblings and cousins alike. Drew Kane, ever the determined strategist with a military background sharpening his resolve, has been tirelessly maneuvering to secure the mansion as a beacon of stability for his fractured life post-return from the presumed dead. Yet, whispers from the shadows indicate that Ronnie, who has inserted herself deeply into the Quartermaine affairs following Monica's passing, views Drew not as a rightful heir but as an opportunistic intruder whose past deceptions taint his claim. Ronnie's disdain stems from Drew's recent actions, including his role in exposing corporate secrets that indirectly harmed Monica's vision for the estate, leading her to prioritize preserving the property's historical integrity over handing it to someone she deems unworthy. This personal vendetta adds a poignant layer, as Ronnie, a fictional character drawn with shrewd intelligence and unyielding loyalty, could orchestrate the sale in a way that echoes classic soap tropes of denied inheritance, much like past Quartermaine power struggles involving ELQ shares. Enter Martin Gray, the sly attorney whose silver tongue and shadowy dealings often tip the scales in Port Charles's legal labyrinths, positioning himself as an unlikely ally to Drew in this high-stakes pursuit. Martin, with his dapper suits and calculated charm reminiscent of classic GH lawyers like Scotty Baldwin, floated the idea of persuading Ronnie to relinquish the property, hinting at leverage from their clandestine partnership forged in the aftermath of Monica's will readings. However, this help is far from altruistic. Martin's true agenda revolves around a meticulously planned blackmail scheme, where he dangles the threat of revealing alterations he slyly introduced to Monica's testament, changes that could frame Ronnie as the villain if she refuses to bend. These invented tweaks to the will, perhaps involving overlooked clauses about charitable donations or hidden beneficiaries, serve as Martin's ace, amplifying the tension as Ronnie grapples with the risk of public scandal that could tarnish her carefully cultivated image as Monica's steadfast guardian. Ronnie's response to this pressure cooker situation reveals her complex character, blending fierce protectiveness with pragmatic negotiation skills honed from years of navigating elite social circles. Deeply invested in Monica's enduring legacy, envisioned as a haven for family gatherings and philanthropic events, Ronnie is loath to see it fall into Drew's hands, especially after witnessing his ruthless tactics in boardroom battles that nearly dismantled Quartermaine enterprises. To counter Martin's coercion, she might propose a cunning compromise, agreeing to the sale on the condition that Drew is explicitly excluded from the bidding process, ensuring the mansion's future aligns more with Monica's philanthropic ideals than Drew's personal redemption arc. This standoff could unfold in riveting courtroom-adjacent scenes, where Ronnie's genuine affection for the estate clashes with her survival instincts, potentially introducing new elements like forged documents surfacing or unexpected witnesses from Monica's inner circle testifying to her wishes. Delving deeper into Martin's duplicity, it's clear his overtures to Drew are a facade masking deeper resentments rooted in a betrayal that still stings. Drew's past indiscretions, including his manipulation of legal proceedings that almost imprisoned Stella Henry, a figure of quiet resilience in the community, have left Martin nursing grudges, viewing Drew as a self-serving operator unworthy of trust. Unlike his more straightforward alliances in earlier plots, Martin's current playbook prioritizes personal vendettas over favors, especially since he never committed outright to securing the property for Drew, merely teasing it as a worthwhile endeavor to keep his options open. This calculated ambiguity allows Martin to pivot seamlessly, using the situation to advance his primary obsession, exacting revenge on Tracy Quartermaine, whose sharp-tongued machinations have long clashed with his ambitions in ELQ power plays. Martin's revenge blueprint against Tracy unfolds with theatrical flair, transforming the mansion sale into a chess move that could displace the entire Quartermaine clan and amplify Tracy's isolation. By engineering the transfer to an outsider, Martin aims to sever the family's emotional tether to their ancestral home, forcing relocations that disrupt Tracy's iron-fisted control over family dynamics and her opulent lifestyle. Picture Tracy, the quintessential diva with her designer gowns and acerbic wit, raging against this upheaval, perhaps rallying allies like Ned or Brooklyn in futile bids to block the deal, only to face Martin's web of legal entanglements. In this expanded scenario, Martin might even fabricate ties to a fictitious international consortium as the buyer, adding intrigue with rumors of luxury redevelopment plans that threaten to erase Quartermain history, thereby prolonging Tracy's torment through endless appeals and media scrutiny. The allure of the surprise buyer's identity hangs like a cliffhanger, inviting speculation on how G.H. Scribes will unveil this twist in upcoming episodes that promise pulse-pounding revelations. Could it be a long-dormant Quartermain relative emerging from obscurity, or perhaps an external force like a tech mogul eyeing Port Charles expansion, injecting fresh blood into the storyline? This mystery element echoes iconic GH surprises, such as unexpected heirs or corporate raiders, and could branch into subplots involving espionage or romantic entanglements tied to the property's deed. Fans might theorize connections to ongoing arcs, like linking the buyer to Sonny Corinthos' underworld dealings or Ava Jerome's art world influences, heightening the stakes as alliances shift unpredictably. Ultimately, these spoilers paint a grim horizon for Drew, who faces a barrage of disheartening revelations that could derail his path to reclaiming the mansion and solidifying his place among the Quartermains. As the sale progresses without his involvement, Drew's fury might erupt in confrontations that expose deeper fractures in his relationships with Jason and the family, pushing him toward desperate measures like underground investigations into Ronnie's past. Next, we're diving into one of the most intense and emotionally charged storylines unfolding in Port Charles, the explosive triangle between Curtis Ashford, Portia Robinson, and Dr. Isaiah Gannon. What begins as a moment of confusion and heartbreak quickly spirals into a storm of jealousy, betrayal, and obsession that could change the lives of everyone involved forever. This isn't just about love gone wrong, it's about pride, secrets, and the cost of silence in a town where the truth always finds a way to surface. When Curtis learns that Portia is pregnant, his world stops. The news doesn't come from her lips, but through Laura Collins, his most trusted confidant, who hears it thanks to Jordan Ashford's meddling curiosity. Jordan, always one to believe in moral duty, ignores Anna Devane's warning to stay out of it and tells Curtis what she's learned. That revelation cuts deeper than any betrayal because it forces Curtis to confront a reality he wasn't ready for. The woman he was divorcing may be carrying a child that could be his or worse, someone else's. Laura listens patiently as Curtis pours his heart out, his anger and confusion twisting together into something darker. To Curtis, the secrecy makes no sense. Why would Portia hide something so monumental, unless there's something, or someone, she's protecting? The memories that flood Curtis's mind only make the situation worse. He recalls Portia's closeness with Isaiah Gannon, the charming and brilliant doctor who had once worked with Lucky Spencer in Somalia. From the start, Isaiah had seemed overly protective of Portia, stepping into her life with a familiarity that unsettled Curtis. At the time, he dismissed his instincts as jealousy, but now the puzzle pieces seemed to fit too perfectly. That protectiveness wasn't professional, it was personal. Curtis's thoughts spiral into paranoia and pain, his trust in Portia crumbling all over again. And when Laura gently suggests that not everything may be as it seems, Curtis can't hear her. All he sees is betrayal. It's ironic because Curtis has been the one pushing for the divorce. He's been emotionally distant, holding on to resentment after discovering that Portia falsified Heather Weber's medical records. He had tried to rationalize her actions. After all, she did it to protect their daughter, Trina Robinson. But deep down, Curtis could never fully forgive her. Trust, once broken, is hard to rebuild, and Portia's web of secrets made it worse. The final blow came when he learned she had been plotting something against Drew Kane, something that didn't even involve him directly. It wasn't the act itself that destroyed him, but the fact that she kept it hidden. To Curtis, every lie, every omission, became proof that Portia wasn't capable of honesty, not even with him. Now, faced with her pregnancy, Curtis's pain morphs into obsession. His logical mind tells him to let go, but his heart refuses. He begins to put two and two together, realizing that Portia might be hiding the pregnancy because the baby isn't his. Yet, even that possibility doesn't drive him away, it pulls him back in. If there's even a chance the baby is his, he wants to fight for it. But beneath that noble impulse lies something darker, possessiveness. Curtis doesn't want to lose control of the one thing he thought he had already surrendered. The idea of Isaiah stepping into the picture sends his emotions into overdrive. He imagines scenes between them that may not even exist, late-night calls, comforting touches, whispered promises in hospital corridors. The thought torments him. Trina's involvement makes things even messier. She accidentally overhears a tense conversation between Portia and Isaiah, one laced with emotion and half-truths. When she tells her father, his fears explode into certainty. In his mind, there's no doubt left, Isaiah has crossed a line. Fueled by anger and adrenaline, Curtis storms into General Hospital like a man possessed. The corridors that once symbolized healing now feel like a battleground. When he confronts Isaiah, his voice is cold but trembling with rage. His words are simple, raw, and final: "Stay away from my wife." The moment hangs heavy in the air, a declaration not just of anger but of deep, unhealed wounds. Isaiah, meanwhile, finds himself caught in the crossfire of something he didn't fully understand. His friendship with Portia was genuine, built on shared respect and emotional support during difficult times. He had seen her fall apart after her separation, seen her struggle to hold on to her dignity in the face of Curtis's silent judgment. What Curtis interprets as intimacy was, in truth, compassion. But Portia, too afraid of being misunderstood, never clarified the boundaries of that friendship. Her silence became its own betrayal, allowing rumors and assumptions to fill the space between them. As Portia's secret looms over all three of them, the emotional stakes rise. Every decision she makes from here on will define not only her future but also that of her family. If the child is Curtis's, she will have to face his distrust and possessiveness once again. If it's Isaiah's, she could lose everything: her reputation, her career, and the fragile love of her daughter. Laura warns her that the longer she waits, the more devastating the fallout will be. But Portia's fear isn't just about telling the truth, it's about the chaos that truth will unleash. She knows Curtis's temper, his pride, and his need for control. She also knows how easily Isaiah could become a scapegoat for Curtis's insecurities. As this emotional triangle implodes, the story becomes less about romance and more about self-destruction. Curtis is a man torn between love and rage, Portia a woman trapped by her own silence, and Isaiah the unwitting casualty of a marriage that refuses to die quietly. Around them, Port Charles watches, whispering, speculating, and taking sides. Even Jordan, who thought she was doing the right thing, begins to regret her interference. Her well-intentioned act of honesty has set off a chain reaction that could destroy 3 lives and ripple far beyond them. By the end of the week, nothing in this storyline will be the same. Curtis's obsession may push him to take drastic action, Portia may be forced into a confession she's not ready to make, and Isaiah may find his career at risk for something he never did. In a city where lies are currency and truth is punishment, this love triangle could become the next great scandal to rock General Hospital. And as Laura quietly reflects on what she's witnessed, one truth becomes clear: forgiveness may heal wounds, but pride keeps them open. So as the drama unfolds in Port Charles, one thing is certain: this isn't just a story about jealousy or infidelity. It's about the lengths people go to when they feel their world slipping away, and the devastating cost of silence when love turns into war. Stay tuned, because the fallout from Curtis and Isaiah's confrontation will change everything for Portia, and for everyone who dares to love her.